Hi guys, Dave Tottman here, and I'm not down at the Golden Fairways Golf Academy in Hainan. I'm back at my family home in Gravesend. So I just wanted to get a video out. We had some pretty shocking news at the back end of last week that Nike is going to reduce its market share within the golf equipment range. It's going to stop making clubs, balls and bags and focus more on clothing and focus on shoes as well. So I just wanted to do a quick video essentially on my belief on the rise and fall of Nike Golf, where things went well and where ultimately the demise began, and they ultimately come to this decision. So apologies, I'm going to look over there a little bit because that's where my notes are. So 1984, Nike bring out their first ever pair of golf shoes. Okay. In 1985, they signed people's favourite, Seve Ballesteros, and everything seemed to be going quite well. He wore the clothing, the Nike Golf swoosh tick and everything, and things were going great. In 1996, a big gap between signing Seve, they signed the next big superstar in Tiger Woods on a $40 million 5-year deal. So a year later, Nike's new superstar Tiger Woods went on to win the Masters with a Titleist ball and a Cobra driver. I know. So the clubs aren't even in the picture at the moment. So obviously Nike would like to change that at some point. So a year after that, in '98, Nike introduced their first golf ball, which included the Precision Tour Control. Glenday went on to hit the first PGA Tour event with a Nike golf ball. In 2000, Woods bags the Tour Accuracy golf ball. He wins the Memorial and then wins the Tiger Slam, the infamous Tiger Slam. All four majors held them at the same time. Obviously, that's great news for Nike. So they then went on to sign a $105 million deal on the back of that. David Duval, then the year after, won the British Open. I remember this very well, and he was the first guy to win a major with Nike golf clubs. So he was playing the Nike forged blades. Obviously, massive news for Nike, very well publicised. Unfortunately, David Duval didn't do a huge amount after that massive win for Nike. So in 2002, the moment that Nike have been waiting for, Tiger Woods put all Nike golf clubs in his bag. Okay, amazing turn of events. Obviously, he didn't use the putter in the beginning because why would you if you putt like Tiger Woods and you're using a Scotty Cameron? But it was massive news for Nike. And he also went on to win the World Golf Championship, the WGC Amex, in Ireland. Now, things were going well. No major issues with what was going on with Nike and their equipment. Everyone was quite happy. In 2003, it's where I believe Nike began to start their downfall, essentially. So in 2003, Mickelson, famed Callaway player, had a poke at Nike Golf, saying that he was surprised how well Tiger was doing using inferior golf clubs. Now, Mickelson's a superstar, and that is the sort of thing that's the publicity that Nike did not want to have. Okay, Tiger Woods was going to win anything. You know, he could have been using US kids golf stuff, and he still would have won everything. During the Tiger era of golf. So with that in mind, it didn't do Nike sales any good at all. The Nike driver was released in that year as well, and the year after they introduced the slingshot irons, the first game improving set, obviously tailored to try and focus on the mass market of golfers. In 2005, the Sasquatch driver was released, and they signed another superstar in Michelle Wie. 16 years old, supposed to be the next best thing, and funny enough, she signed for Nike but never really took off to what potential we all believe she could have. And this is another thing that I think consumers, when they look at golf clubs and they look at these massive multi-million-dollar signings of top players, is that you're in the limelight, and if you don't take to the clubs like a duck to water, consumers believe that the clubs aren't very good. In 2007, Nike introduced the Sumo 2 driver, which, let's face it, was square. And more importantly, the noise it made was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And the idea was it was supposed to have a higher moment of inertia, designed to be very forgiving for the amateur player, but it just generated way too much spin, and you just couldn't get the ball out there. You just could not drive to the distances you wanted. So, a bit of a disaster, and it was even recalled as it was found to be non-conforming, which is a massive faux pas for Nike. All these people have bought the driver, probably not very happy with it, and then they had to recall it because they were pushing the boundaries of the legalities of conforming drivers, and unfortunately failed on a number of cases, which means every driver had to be recalled. In 2009, the first adjustable driver for Nike came out in the straight fit, Dymo straight fit, and TaylorMade R9 also released their version as well, and it was much better received. And I think this started to show that there was no loyalty to Nike. People didn't think Nike golf clubs were good, and obviously TaylorMade has got a fantastic reputation. Even though the Nike Dymo straight fit and the R9 were very similar in their design and their performance, people just preferred the TaylorMade, and I think that was one of the telltale signs of where Nike was struggling to make an impact in the consumer market. 2013 rolls by, and massive $200 million contract with Rory McIlroy is signed. Alarm bells ringing. As soon as I heard that, alarm bells were ringing, and he needed to win majors fast, because when you sign someone for that amount of money, people know they're not moving for a quality product, they are moving purely for the dollar bills. And funny enough, he struggled. He did struggle, complaining about the driver, and it was a complaint, a genuine complaint. Paul Casey was even forced to step in and defend Nike, which is not a situation you want to be in when you've got Rory McIlroy, world's number one, Paul Casey falling off the edge of the earth as far as performance went in his eyes, and he's having to defend the product. So not a good situation for Nike there. In the same year, Tiger had won his last event to this day, which was a WGC Bridgestone Invitational. McIlroy did go on the following year to win the British Open and the PGA Championship. Now, my belief is if you're going to win a major double, you're probably going to win the Open and USPGA because they're so close to each other. As a top player, you tend to find your purple patches, purple weeks, and it's normally when you're putting well, and especially with McIlroy being undisputed the best long game player we've got out there on the PGA Tour at the moment. His putting does let him down. When he puts well, he does win. There is no other way of looking at it. He just wins. Same year, Michelle Wie wins her first major in the Ladies US Open. Fantastic news for Nike, but is it a little too late? And this year, 2016, Nike signed new players. I think it was 9 new players, including Koepka and Finau. And then on the 3rd of August, Nike decided they were pulling the plug. I believe that 2003 was the time when things started to look really bad for Nike. If we're going to be honest, why would Nike struggling? How could they struggle? They're the giants of all kinds of sports, whether it's basketball, football, tennis. Nike are just everything. Why did they struggle so much? And I was down at Westmoreland yesterday speaking to some of the guys down there, and they stopped Nike for 1 year, and they said that there was one guy who wanted a set of golf clubs, and it took 3 months for Nike to get their act together and send the clubs through. You never saw them stopped anywhere other than American Golf and Direct Golf because they can. I honestly believe Nike struggled because they didn't focus on the PGA professional. That's my belief. The PGA professional, who is the one who is doing the most to drive the game of golf at recreational level. And I'm very surprised that Nike didn't do more to encourage professionals, club professionals, to stock the clubs, play the clubs themselves. TaylorMade do a fantastic job of that, but no one does it any better than Titleist. Titleist really look after the club professional, and yes, their ball is probably the best on the market. I play TaylorMade, but I think Titleist probably is a little bit better. It's definitely got the better reputation. But one thing I'm really surprised about is the amount of club pros that use Titleist clubs. When they are good, they're well built, but nothing changes year on year with Titleist, in my opinion. I believe that they've got a formula that works and they just stick to it and they just restyle it ever so slightly. But performance-wise, they barely change. So this is one thing I think Nike didn't do very well, especially in the UK market. I don't know what it was like in America. I don't know many pros in America at the moment. But in the UK especially, they did not focus on the professionals who are the ones who are going to be driving the game and driving sales for them. Essentially, the PGA professional is an employed salesman for whatever brand they choose to stock. You never saw it in golf shops anywhere. And I think that's one of the main reasons that they didn't have any consumer belief. It ties into why Tiger struggled when he first started using Nike golf clubs, when Rory started, when Michelle started. You know, it all ties into why did they struggle so quickly, even though they're one of the top players in the world. And I really believe that that seems to be the demise of Nike as we know it. Another reason why I think Nike are getting out of the game is because it's so difficult to sell golf clubs now. Because year on year, the clubs barely change. They don't improve a huge amount year on year. And when they don't improve year on year, how can you expect customers to be spending £300, and I'm surprised now, even £400 for a new driver when it's not going to do much to the previous year's model? I'm astounded with the prices of golf clubs now. They've just skyrocketed in the last 4 years since I worked at Westmoreland Golf Club. And, you know, I know Adidas is trying to sell TaylorMade. Obviously, I know Nike is pulling out of the golf game. I'm not sure what's happening with Cobra Puma at the moment, but people just aren't buying golf clubs anymore. And companies are making it much more difficult for people to buy, because where do people find £400 for one golf club in the modern age, when their current golf club is going to do just as well? If it's fitted, if you're custom fitted and the driver is built for you, then the change in head is not going to make any difference year on year. There'll be golf club manufacturers who probably won't like this, but it's true. It's simply true. But Nike will continue to make quality shoes and quality shirts, but they are going to obviously save a huge amount of cost in the research and development of golf clubs, and they're going to do what they do best and make quality apparel. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please hit like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all our latest video updates, and follow us on all our other social media platforms. Thanks very much.